Hi, welcome back to the channel. Let's see what Trump's presidency could mean for the world. In this video we'll dive into the most likely scenarios and their global impact.
Donald Trump's political ascent have sparked intense speculation and debate about the future of American domestic and foreign policy. As we consider the implications of a Trump administration in 2025, it is crucial to analyze the key scenarios that may unfold and assess the likely trajectory of his presidency based on his past governance, current rhetoric, and the challenges he would inherit. One of the most probable outcomes of Trump's inauguration would be the reassertion of his America First doctrine. This policy framework, which defined much of his first term, emphasized deregulation, tax cuts, and a strong focus on domestic economic growth. Trump is likely to revisit and potentially expand policies aimed at reducing federal oversight in industries such as energy, manufacturing, and technology. His stance on climate change, characterized by skepticism, may lead to the withdrawal of the United States from global environmental initiatives, such as re-entering the Paris Agreement under Biden. The judicial landscape is another area where Trump could exert significant influence, with the potential to appoint more conservative judges to federal courts, including the Supreme Court. His administration may solidify a conservative tilt in American jurisprudence for decades. Issues such as abortion rights, gun control, and federal regulatory authority could see pivotal legal battles that reshape their trajectory. Trump's economic strategy is likely to focus on further tax reforms, aimed at benefiting corporations and high-income individuals, which he argues would stimulate investment and job creation. However, these measures could exacerbate income inequality, a persistent critique of his economic policies during his first term. On the international trade front, a Trump administration might reignite trade tensions with China, potentially escalating tariffs and economic decoupling efforts. This could impact global supply chains and create ripple effects across global markets. Additionally, Trump's criticism of multinational trade agreements might lead to a further retreat from global economic institutions, potentially isolating the United States from critical trade partnerships. Immigration policy under Trump would likely return to the hardline approaches seen during his first term. Proposals such as stricter border controls, enhanced deportation measures, and restrictions on asylum applications are expected to resurface. The fate of programs like DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, could hang in the balance with renewed legal and political battles. Social policies, including education and healthcare, may see reduced federal involvement. Trump's administration could push for school choice initiatives, promoting charter schools and private education, while attempting to dismantle elements of the Affordable Care Act. These policies may polarize the electorate further, intensifying debates over federal versus state governance. In foreign policy, Trump's America First agenda could lead to a realignment of global alliances. His critical stance on NATO and other traditional alliances may resurface, potentially weakening transatlantic cooperation. Conversely, Trump has shown an affinity for engaging with authoritarian leaders, which could redefine US relations with countries like Russia, North Korea, and Turkey. The Middle East is another region where Trump's policies could have a profound impact. His administration might prioritize strengthening ties with Israel and Gulf states, while scaling back involvement in multilateral negotiations, such as the Iran nuclear deal. This could increase regional tensions and complicate efforts to stabilize the area. While Trump's presidency offers a roadmap for significant policy shifts, he would also face substantial challenges. The political landscape has evolved since his first term, with increased polarization and a more vocal opposition. Democrats and moderate Republicans may resist his policies, creating gridlock in Congress and complicating his agenda. The state of the economy, geopolitical tensions, and public health challenges, such as the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, would demand immediate attention. These issues could limit the administration's capacity to implement its broader goals and shape its legacy. Trump's approach to the Russia-Ukraine war is likely to diverge sharply from current US policy. Trump has repeatedly suggested that he would prioritize negotiations to end the conflict. Potentially pushing for a peace agreement that may favor Russia's territorial claims. He has criticized the extensive military aid provided to Ukraine, arguing that US resources should be directed toward domestic priorities instead. This could lead to a significant reduction, or even a complete halt, in US military and financial assistance to Ukraine. Such a move would alter the dynamics of the conflict, potentially emboldening Russia to consolidate its territorial gains. Critics warn that this policy shift could weaken NATO's cohesion and undermine the West's broader strategy of deterring aggression by authoritarian regimes. Trump's admiration for Vladimir Putin, coupled with his skepticism of NATO, may lead to reduced US engagement in European security. While he may not formally withdraw from NATO, his administration could downplay America's commitments, creating uncertainty among allies. This shift could force European nations to shoulder more responsibility for regional security, possibly accelerating EU defense integration. Additionally, Trump's transactional worldview might lead him to seek agreements with Russia on arms control or counterterrorism in exchange for concessions on Ukraine. Such deals could marginalize Ukraine's interests and strain US relations with European allies who are staunch supporters of Kyiv. The most probable scenario following Trump's inauguration is a continuation of heightened political polarization, both domestically and internationally. Domestically, his administration is likely to deepen divisions on key issues such as immigration, healthcare, and climate policy. Internationally, a Trump presidency could lead to a retreat from multilateralism, creating uncertainty in global governance and economic stability. The potential for significant judicial appointments and regulatory changes would cement Trump's influence on American policy long after his term ends. However, resistance from opposition parties, civil society, and international allies could temper some of his more ambitious plans. In conclusion, the second Trump administration would likely be characterized by a mix of aggressive policy initiatives, strategic realignments, and intense domestic and international scrutiny. While some supporters view his leadership as a necessary disruption to the status quo, critics warn of the risks of isolationism, authoritarian tendencies, and deepening societal divides. As the United States approaches this critical juncture, the world watches closely, knowing that the ripple effects of Trump's presidency will extend far beyond its borders. The Russia-Ukraine war stands as a key litmus test of Trump's foreign policy. His potential disengagement from Ukraine could have far-reaching consequences, redefining US relations with Europe and altering the global balance of power. Whether his policies succeed in achieving America first or contribute to global instability remains a matter of intense debate. As the war in Ukraine continues, the devastation extends far beyond the battlefield. Landmines and unexploded ordnance are turning towns, fields, and roads into deadly traps, leaving communities unable to rebuild or even return home safely. At International Action Alliance Ltd., a not-for-profit organization I founded earlier this year, we're committed to changing this. Our demining and contamination assessment project aims to clear these hidden dangers, restore safety, and help Ukraine recover from the scars of war. Your support can make a tangible difference. By contributing to our demining efforts, you'll help provide the tools, training, and expertise needed to clear landmines effectively and assess exposure to the present contaminants in war-affected regions. This isn't just about saving lives, it's about giving families the chance to reclaim their homes and farmers the opportunity to cultivate their land again. Together, we can ensure that Ukraine's future isn't overshadowed by the remnants of war. Let's stand with Ukraine. Please consider donating to our demining project and being part of the solution. Every contribution brings us closer to a safer, brighter future for Ukraine.